Hello everybody, welcome to Toyah at Home. I hope you are all safe and well and looking forward to March the 8th. I don't fully know what it means. I think we're allowed one person in the garden. That's really exciting. Here, we just want to be able to socialise, see people again. It's been way too long. And the one thing that is really optimistic for us is the festivals. I'm doing about 7 Let's Rock festivals this year over the UK. And also I've got lots of lovely small local festivals dotted around the UK. I think all of them virtually sold out last week. They are going to be such popular events after everything we have been through. This week we had rather an exciting experience. As many of you know, Robert and I do Toyah and Robert's Sunday lunch. And the other day we discovered Alice Cooper online with his band discussing Robert and I doing Poison.
Respect and excitement from Mr. Cooper and the team. And may I say that Nita Strauss, Alice's guitar player, is phenomenal player. My respect, she blows me off the planet.
When I have my guitar lessons, which is twice a week, I'm always being told that Nita Strauss should be the person I aim to be. Well, I don't think it matters whether Nita is female or male. She is a great guitarist. That's all that matters. So she's one of my heroines, and to see her discussing Poison as well, and I was almost embarrassed because I didn't want them to think that we were making a joke or anything.
Not at all. I first met Alice in 1973 when the Alice Cooper Band shared a flight with King Crimson from one city in America to another. I continue to be in respect of Alice as a performer and the band as a stunning set of musicians.
I, from the 1972, had a poster of Alice Cooper on the ceiling above my bed. I've always adored him, and I meant to put a handmade poster up when we did Poison saying "We love Alice," but I just forgot to put it up. We are wildly excited that we are on the map of Alice. But then we did Everlong last Sunday, and
a fan tweeted it to the Foo Fighters website, so no idea where that's going.
Well, it's always fun. We do these because we love the songs. And if you've seen Everlong, that is not a mechanical snake, it's a real snake.
My sister, when we spoke yesterday, asked me, how did Toyah manage to get that snake to move at the end?
Well, she thought it was mechanical. It's a corn snake, belongs to a neighbour of ours. I had to have lessons in how to be a good snake handler, and we found it very charismatic, very beautiful to work with. And we only did 2 takes because when you're working with animals, you just don't keep them out of their environment that long. But we really love that snake.
Well, Baby the Snake struck me as a very intelligent creature and also sharing our emotional lives. It seemed to have very much of a feeling life.
Very inquisitive snake. Thanks, Robert.
I love you, little
I
wife.
love you. I will see you soon. This week, I am attempting to answer your questions about how you would like to move forward in your work. A few of you are retired and you're looking to do the things that you've always wanted to do. Some of you just have general dilemmas. Now, I've loved researching this because I've been working as a singer for 42 years and I always have had to keep reinventing myself. You are never let off the hook of having to reinvent yourself. So let's have a little kind of exploratory Toyah at Home about how you do reinvention and how it works for you. Our first song this week is going to be Toyah and the Humans at Trading Boundaries. This is a song off our last album, Strange Tales, and it's called Amnesia. That was Toyah and the Humans at Trading Boundaries, Amnesia, off Strange Tales. I love that song. It was recorded originally in Seattle, where Chris Wong, Bill Rieflin and myself were lent Pearl Jam's recording studio, and Death Cab for Cutie flew their PA system in from Japan and let us use it in the studio. It was such a joyous album to make, and to play that live at Trading Boundaries was wonderful, and I hope venues like Trading Boundaries can open this year. It would be amazing to get back playing in front of that audience. As I mentioned before the song, we have quite a few questions that are about dilemmas, which I find absolutely fascinating because I believe we should all be encouraged to reinvent ourselves. We shouldn't stay fixed. We change every decade. We are different people. And let's face it, if as human beings we shed our skin every 7 years and have totally new skin, therefore are we not totally new people? It makes sense to just evolve and move on and do things that we really want to do or that we're very, very inquisitive about that we want to share with other people. Francis, you ask, I'm a similar age and recently have been a retired nurse. I wondered what you do to get yourself motivated to write. I have lots of ideas to write prose, but find that first step hard to take. Francis, this isn't an easy one. I think anyone who writes books will tell you that the writing process steals their lives. And what I mean by that, I've only sat down and written 2 books. One was Living Out Loud, which I wrote in 2000. And I dictated most of that book into a dictating machine because I was on the road, I was filming a lot, and I found physically writing slowed me down. So I was just telling my life story, and then I sent those to the publisher, the tapes, and then they were transcribed, and then I did all the editing with the publisher to kind of formulate, tighten it up and make it a fluid read. Another book I did was about the history of plastic surgery, which I found so easy to write. And the secret of this, Fran, is that you are genuinely interested in what you are writing. You are so interested, you cannot wait to get up, or you get up in the middle of the night and you just write. It's got to be a subject matter that just owns you. Otherwise, it's going to be like pulling teeth. Now, what I found with both books I've written, and I've written many manuscripts since, is that you sit down to write and suddenly 8 hours later, you discover you are physically alive and you've lost a day. You have to learn to accept that writing absorbs all of your time. You keep copious notes. I mean, that's on my bed all night. I am up, I'm just writing myself notes. I mean, this is what I do to write lyrics, yet alone to write a manuscript. You have to keep notes, and those notes are a lifeline. So Francis, you ask about how do you get started? I think there's one very important rule, Francis. You set time in the day that is your sacred time, when you're not going to be disturbed, when you feel that your body is at its most energetic. Some people that's 6 in the morning, some that's 7 at night, some it's even midnight, but you make that time and no one trespasses on that time. Every single day you must set time to write 1,500 words. It doesn't matter if you use those words or not. That is the muscle of writing. It's the discipline of writing. Most prolific writers do 3,000 words a day. You may come up with what you need within those words, but do not fail yourself. You are a writer once you do those 1,500 words. Now, you were a nurse, so choose visceral experiences, the hard hours, the hard training, the mucky jobs that kind of came within your personal boundary. You can talk about the smells, the characters, the successes, the pain, the loss. You have so many experiences, Francis, you can tap into and write what you know. Also, give your main character something really interesting, something that fascinates. Your main character could be someone that just wants to arrange flowers, who wants to make cheese, or is a detective. But what if they had a really odd hobby like glass blowing or collecting paperweights, which have a phenomenal history in the 1800s, or distilling potato to drink alcohol secretly? cocoa bean production. Just give them something that draws the reader in. A classic example of the first page, meaning that you cannot put the book down as a reader, is the first page of the book Perfume. You can smell the market, you can smell this woman giving birth, you can smell the rotting fish around her. It's an extraordinary first page, and then you just allow your consciousness to tell a story that you want to tell and you would like to read yourself. Engage the reader through visuals, taste, gossip, secrets, even miracles. And you will be on your way, Francis. And good luck. And thank you for that question. Mike Beer, I love your question because actually this relates to something I addressed in lockdown. Mike, you say I do artwork in my spare time, and I was wondering if you have any advice how to market my drawings. I appreciate art is very subjective. I've even sold some of my artwork in the past. I've been stumped on where to go next and what to do next. Right, well, I'm an art collector. I love art, but in lockdown, for me in particular, I had to find ways of keeping cash flow going because my band has not performed live for 12 months as of this week. And that was always my main income. It's the same for Robert as well. So I realized that with my fans and using nostalgia and images I created and have paid for many times over to record companies via royalties, I could do artwork of me and do some little lines of lyrics I've written, and these have been hugely popular, and they are very naive, but I love Maud Lewis. I am so into naive painters and naive folklore painting. I absolutely adore that style. So I came up with this idea, I think in October, and these have been an absolutely saving grace for us to buy food and run the household. But many, many artists, Mike, are in your position. When in late 1970s, when I was doing a lot of live work, I met a very phenomenal artist called Dexter Brown. And Dexter's main style of drawing was things in movement. And he was hugely successful doing sports cars. Why? Because men love sports cars. Men love things in motion. Sports cars, motorbikes, cycling, anything in motion. Jets, they will sell well, Mike. I promise you that. But Dexter Brown, the artist, used to come to my shows and draw me as I moved on stage. And he did the cover for Toyah, which I'm holding up now, which is very, very abstract, but fully captures my energy and my movement. And I'm very grateful to say I own the originals of these now. So Dexter was very clever. He knew that he could sell to corporate companies that love sports cars or were linked to cars. He could sell to hotels. He could sell to anything to do with machinery because that is what he drew. But he also had another name. And in certain Cotswolds towns, he realized if he did quintessential meadow flowers, and Dexter, I don't think you'll mind me holding this up. This is a beautiful painting of meadow flowers, that tourists would take them home. And I think that's one of the cleverest things I have ever seen an artist do. And he does that under a French name, and they're phenomenally popular. So what I'm saying to you, Mike, is that you need to find people who want artwork. Yes, art is subjective, but there's always hotels. Hotels love original artwork. It creates their brand. So any hotel you go in will have the same prints of flowers, of boats on the sea. It's just unbelievable. It's all quite homogenous. But I suggest, and I've seen other artists do this, and these sell really well, newspaper headlines. If you're near a race course and you paint a group of people all holding up newspapers and the headlines of the latest races, that will sell at that race course. Bank headlines will sell in the city, groups of people holding up newspapers on the train, on the bus, where you see the headlines that relate to that bank. Company history is the same, and then go to that company and suggest these paintings. Wedding venues, brides in dresses. Every hotel, every wedding venue will want beautiful paintings of happy brides. Tourist art in the 1800s, places people dreamed of going, from Italy to Rome, would sell because it was selling a dream. Famous horse race headlines, famous football headlines will sell in the venues and to the fans that are affiliated with that horse or with that team. And lastly, Mike, one thing that's always stumped me is people love drawings of nude females in their bedrooms. I never understood that. I mean, every time I visit a friend and I go into their bedroom, I mean, I haven't done that for a long time, when you go to use the bathroom, there's like nude females. Nudes sell, especially if they're incredibly beautiful and discreet, but slightly flirtatious. They'll always sell. And I want to talk to you about scale, Mike, just quickly. I have a home in France, and France has a lot of artists. I mean, and it's always interesting looking at groups of artists where they live, from Scarborough to Whitby, right through to St Ives in Cornwall, or even Padstow, Cornwall. You will find that groups of artists know what sell, and you can research that. And if you live somewhere where there is something of beauty, you can paint that and it will sell. It will sell in the art centres, in pubs, in restaurants. It will sell in all those little theatres or community centres or town halls. These are very popular in France. They're popular in America as well. I've seen them a lot in Seattle. They're just tiny copies that are aged to look like antiques. You could sell these on a market stall. You'd get through at least 20 of these on a Saturday on a market stall. Easy to paint, you can sell them. They're very, very palatable for people to have in their kitchens or in their bedrooms. So these are tiny, beautiful frames with flower paintings on, paintings of flowers in vases, will sell. They're going to sell, and that could be your bread and butter that allows you to carry on doing what you love. Another French artist who used to sell on the street outside my apartment, I used to buy up all his paintings. I mean, look at that. They were inexpensive, then they're within a square cubic foot. People have room for a painting like that. The framing is also really important. I would say to you, include the framing with your art, because the framing allows people to go straight home and hang it. And a small painting like that, people will have the space to hang it. But this artist was just extraordinary. And he's using that kind of Dutch style of deep glazing that makes the picture have so much depth. Artists are clever, very, very clever at marketing themselves. And one other thing I'm going to say to you, Mike, is if you sell little easels along with your painting, then you have really sold something that is like an interior design, and people are going to want, because you are expressing to them how they can live with that painting and how it can make part of their room come alive. This beautiful tiny little gilded easel, it would not cost that much to make or to buy in bulk. People really, really love that kind of thing. So Mike, thank you for that question. Douglas McCrillis Jones, thank you for your question. Posh Pop, new album. We're looking forward to it. How did you arrive at this title, and what is Posh Pop? Posh Pop's my next solo album. It's a follow-up to In the Court of the Crimson Queen. It's being released on Demon Music on July the 28th. And we're going to start releasing tracks from the album from June the 4th. So this week, I thought you might like to know, Douglas, I started shooting the videos and we've shot the album artwork. It's been quite a feat because we are in lockdown. I've done the lighting, planning, the setup, the creation, the art control. It's been fabulous and I've absolutely loved it, and we've come up with beautiful images. And when I say we, I have a neighbour, a very young man who's great with technology, who has to COVID test weekly because of his work, which means he can come and work with me, which is fantastic. I mean, we are so blessed where we live. There are so many creative people. So Douglas, in answer to your question, I was a little shocked this week when Paul Weller announced his latest album, which is called Fat Pop, because my contractor Demon specified my album title, Posh Pop, back in last September 2020. Posh Pop for me means, and it's a play on words, it's a joke. It's literally a joke because Robert, my husband, Robert Fripp, is playing on the album. And Simon Darlow, my co-writer, wanted Robert on the album. I'm always very wary of working with Robert because everyone is just so blind to what Robert has done ever since King Crimson that I do not want Posh Pop associated with King Crimson. I wanted it to be associated with the artist who is playing the guitar in this present day. And we decided to call Robert on the album Bobby Willcox to stop this blind, dumb association with something he wrote 50 years ago. And it's working. So far it's working. People have got the message. Posh Pop is called Posh Pop because anything associated with Robert Fripp instantly has an intellectual snobbery connected with it and makes it kind of posh. Whereas the playing that he is doing on this album, he only comes in and plays for 1 to 2 hours a week. That's all he does, while Simon Darlow and I write constantly, record constantly. I shoot the videos, I do the artwork. I mean, this is a Simon Darlow and Toyah Willcox collaboration where Robert, bless him, comes in and plays for 1 to 2 hours a week. So we're calling it Posh Pop because inevitably, because Robert's on it, it's going to get world coverage, and it's purely a play on that. And it is wonderful. And Robert's work on it is breathtaking. And he's been able to come into this album with a creative freedom where we've painted the canvas for him, and he's just done beautiful work that has taken each song to a higher level. I will say that it's been wonderful. His work has just been extraordinary, but it's been avant-garde, and it's been going back to this wonderful kind of New York new wave feel which we have wanted on this album. And the artwork that I am shooting presently and will be shooting for the next 2 months is very much gone back into that genre of New York new wave. It's spot on. It's spot on. The songs are deep, yet they are pop. They have deep commentary because of the year that we've had and what we've been through, and working through optimism and hope and allowing yourself to feel down and be angry. We've created something that really takes you on a journey of anger, fear, hope into dance. It's lovely. It's very special. So Douglas, thank you for that question. It's a great question. And I hope no more albums come out using pop in the title from other artists. I told Simon this the other day because also another artist has released a single with exactly the same title as one we were going to release off the album. And I said, Simon, we're going to have to change our lyrics. And he said, we're in the zeitgeist. And what's interesting about lockdown, lastly, Douglas, is I think a lot of artists will be in the zeitgeist in the next 12 months because we have been locked away. And when you're writing and creating, you are in a higher state of consciousness. And I always believe in morphic resonance. And that is when something, a subject matter, has to come into the world to help evolve people and move people along. And all the artists, I think, have been resonating on that same plane, morphic resonance. And we're going to be coming up with similar ideas. It's going to be fascinating in the next 6-12 months to see this happen. And I bet you, Douglas, it happens a lot. Mandy McCrillick, you ask, how do you know when you finished a lyric and when a lyric is good enough to be let out into the world? This is a great question, Mandy, because as I work with Simon Darlow, we actually deconstruct more than construct. And what I mean by this, I will send Simon a lyrical idea that triggers music in his head. I will always send that before we go into the studio, just so it's a stepping stone into the creative process. So we've got a song coming out on an album called Miniatures, which is many artists doing 60-second songs. And to kick this off, I did a garage band piece where I sang this and sent this to Simon Darlow. And this is about scanning. And the most important thing I think about lyrics is scanning and visual interest. If it doesn't scan, you've got to deliberate as to why you've chosen it not to scan. So let's look at scanning. Adam, meet Eve, swipe right, paradise, rendezvous by the tree, take apple, ingest seed. So that bounces. It's very simple. The syllables match, the timing of the syllable match between each line. And I know that I can make that work in a 4/4 environment. But then we get to storytelling in the next verse. Virus, here it comes, the ark, tidal wave, Homo sapiens won't be saved. And then we get into a different scanning. And I'm just going to sing you the bridge. What goes comes around, take my number, take it down. What goes comes around, space and sound, town to town. So this is a song about relationships only ever being able to be formed through apps and the internet, relating right back to the miracle of Adam and Eve finding each other on a planet that had no internet, had no form of travel other than feet, camels and horses. So I'm using all that imagery. So I immediately knew the imagery was right. But then I get together with my co-writer, Simon, and we start to look at the music that we want. And Simon radically changed this when we got into the studio. We are going to be doing a bonus track on Posh Pop where we extend this song into 5 minutes rather than a 60-second format, which is on the album Miniatures. So how do we know when this is ready? Well, it's when it scans. It's when it scans within the music. So there's another lyric I'm going to read to you. Lean on me as the sun goes down. This is off one of Posh Pop's songs called Summer of Love. And I could not believe how Simon interpreted this in the music. So it kind of goes, lean on me as the sun goes down. And then it just goes straight into a really unbelievably enormous chorus. And you know, Simon took that line, which I wrote and sent to him in advance, and he just managed to orchestrate it. How do we know it's ready? Because the music and the message of the lyric go hand in hand. They're symbiotic. So I think when you say, how do you put a lyric into the world? You put it into the world when it fits the music. So what I'm not sure about your question, Mandy, is you're a lyricist that send out to other musical writers. I think you have to allow the musicians, the people that do the composition of the music, to make that music fit. And when they feel it scans and it fits with the music, then it's ready to go out into the world. You just have to look at Elton John. He works with lyricists. He doesn't count himself a lyricist. But I suppose the best person in the world for making music scan at the moment is Ed Sheeran. You know, he just takes words, clever phrases, and makes them scan. So it's about scanning. It's a never-ending source of inspiration, and I love it. And I particularly love late at night, sitting down, writing an idea for Simon, knowing it's going to inspire him to write the song that we're going to do in the studio the next day. And very often Simon and I just stand in front of the microphone and we deconstruct and start again. But you have to start somewhere. And that answers Francis's question today, and in many ways Douglas's question today, and Mandy's and Mike's, is do not be afraid to deconstruct and start again. Thank you everybody for your wonderful questions. I have so enjoyed researching the answers for you. Remember, tonight we've got Agony Aunts, and tomorrow we've got a really lovely Sunday lunch. It's a goodie. Robert and I are so enjoying getting ready for it for you. Mother's Day is coming up, so I'm very happy doing lyric art for lovely mums that were fans, even grandmothers or granddads or fathers, of course. And the same goes for Robert. He does his aphorisms. With this new optimism in the air that we may soon be performing in front of live audiences, we're going to go out with one of my most optimistic songs ever, and that's Good Morning Universe, recorded about 5 years ago at the Water Rats in King's Cross with the late great Colin Hines on guitar, Chris Wong on guitar and vocals. We've got John Humphrey on percussion, Mike Nichols on bass. Enjoy, and I will see you very soon. Bye from Toyah.
Hi everybody, this is Good Morning Universe. Good morning, universe. Good morning, universe. How are you today? I've been a long, long way. Come with me. You've gotta come with me. Open up your eyes and see the intoxicating speed of this neon world can take you. Good morning, universe. How are you today? Morning, morning, universe. I've been a long, long way. Good morning, universe. How are you today? Morning, morning, universe. I've been a long, long way. I'm back from Mars, and my starship's a jungle. It's a jungle, hopelessly lost, but I don't fear. I'm crashing simple in outer space. All the aliens do here. I've gotta find you in my chariot of fire. I wanna touch you with fingertips in flames. My gifts, I wanna kiss you. I wanna kiss you again and again and again and again. Good morning, universe. How are you today? Morning, morning, universe. I've been a long